Welcome everyone to today's session about the medical school and medical studies in Hungary. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. We will have a presentation first, then a Q&A session after that. The presentation is going to be held by Dr. Balázs Veres, who's the Associate Professor at the Biochemistry and Medical Chemistry Department of the Medical School. And we are also joined by Prithviraj Bhatt, who's our International Student Ambassador and our current student at the General Medicine program. And I would like to give the word to Dr. Balázs Veres.
Thank you very much, and then good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this short session introducing the University of Pécs Medical School. I'm going to switch to a full screen mode now and hope that all you see the first slide of my presentation about, as I mentioned, the medical school of the University of Pécs. So first of all, I'll have to introduce a little bit maybe the country Hungary itself. I don't know how much you know about that country, which is located in Central Europe. The capital city is Budapest. Maybe that's the city what most of the students know. And we are part of the European Union. We are part of the Schengen Convention, Schengen Zone. We speak a very special, unique language, the Hungarian language, and we have roughly 10 million people living in this small and peaceful country. The University of Pécs is located in a small city called Pécs. That's why the name of the university. And we are approximately two and a half an hour away from Budapest, in the south part of the country. So we are close to the Croatian border. The city itself is a Mediterranean, small historical city. We have approximately 150,000 inhabitants. However, we have 25,000 students. So we usually say that this city is a real university city because of the ratio, what you can see here, that the 25,000 students in a relatively small city. It's really a beautiful city. I'm going to show you a few pictures later on. But believe me, it's, as I mentioned, a historical city. The history is going back to the Roman Empire. So the city is more than 2,000 years old. And the university itself is one of the oldest universities of the world. We are like more than 600 years, dated back to the 14th century. The city Pécs is a kind of, I'm going to go in the details a bit later on how the university and the city are located to each other, because it's also pretty unique. And I think it's a very important point when we see the University of Pécs on the map or with other universities around in the country or around other countries. As I promised, here you can see a few pictures from the city or around the city. So you can see that we have, as I mentioned, historical parts like this beautiful cathedral, the main square with a building dated back to the Ottoman Empire, because we were occupied roughly 150 years long by the then Ottoman Empire. And around the city, we have a small hill, beautiful lakes, small ponds, and so on and so forth, churches and historical monuments and buildings. Nearby the city, we have several lakes. You can go during summertime, of course, mainly to relax a little bit over there. So it's really a beautiful city, and the environment is also fantastic. I just spent an hour this morning with my dogs in the mountain, running around, and it's really lovely. I mean, starting your day in such an environment, it's absolutely healthy, pure, crystal clear air, blue sky, lovely. University of Pécs. However, I represent here the medical school mainly. I have to say that the university has 10 different faculties, offering maybe like a kind of 100 different programs, full in English, of course. So we have almost everything: law, economy, health sciences, natural sciences, architecture, engineering, and so on and so forth. But there are so many other webinars today introducing all those other faculties. So I'm going to focus on the medical faculty. As I mentioned, the university is dated back to the 14th century. Here you can see that it was founded in 1367. And we have students more than 100 different countries. In the medical school, this number is around 60. So we have 60 different nationalities at the medical school. So when I say it's an international campus, I really mean it. The medical school has around 100 years of tradition and history in education, medical education. We have the longest running English program in Central Europe, actually, in English. Started here, you can see, at the middle of the 80s. We have 20 different departments, 700 accredited foreign partner institutions, and that is very important, so I have to stop here for a while. Later, I'm going to mention that the university and the medical school is a 6-year-long, non-divided, one-tier program, where the 6th last year is the so-called rotational year, which means that the students are rotating around the different departments, and they spend a few weeks every single department just to, have and get familiar with all those departments, and of course practicing and getting the skills necessary for the different departments. However, and that's the point, our international students have the opportunity to do that last year in the home country, or actually in other countries as well, other hospitals in other countries as well. So those 700 accredited foreign partner institutions are mainly clinics and hospitals all around the world. So if someone is coming to study here from, let's say, just an example, from Japan or from South Korea, they can choose in the 6th year to go back to Japan and selecting one of the accredited hospitals in Japan, in Kyoto or in Osaka or in Tokyo, and taking this 6th year or the half of that, so one semester in that selected accredited hospital, basically getting into the language and getting into the local culture, medical culture, which is very important. Students are studying here fully in English. So once you go back to your home country, it's absolutely necessary to get we call it, the medical terminology in your own language. So that's what you can get if you go back to your home country, into a hospital and spending a few months there. And it usually helps to get later a job and, to go successfully through the state exams, what is necessary when you go back to your country and you want to get your medical license accredited in your home country. International environment, I already mentioned that it's really international. So basically, the medical school runs 3 parallel programs, one for Hungarian students, one for German students, and one for international students. We call it the English program. And basically, we have more or less the same number of students in each program. So it means that we have 2/3 international students and only 1/3 of Hungarian students. So as I mentioned, international campus, I really mean it. State-of-the-art campus and facilities, I'm going to show you a few pictures later on. I just have to say here that in the past 10 years, we did tremendous work building a completely new infrastructure here, basically improving the educational facilities of the university, of the med school, and also research facilities, and of course the clinical infrastructure as well. We have a 3D printing center, which is dedicated for the medical sciences. And also we are very proud of our BSL-4 laboratory, which is a virological laboratory. BSL-4 stands for the Biosafety Level 4, which is the highest safety category of the virological labs. And there are approximately 60 BSL-4 labs all around the world. And we have one of them. And it's pretty rare that this lab is completely dedicated to an educational institute, to a university, and not by a government-run facility. So we can work, study, and make research here on highly pathogen, extremely dangerous viruses, Ebola virus, HIV, dengue fever, and so on and so forth. So this gives another point here, saying that that we can do really state-of-the-art research with even such kind of very rare and extremely dangerous pathogens and viruses. Here you can see the timeline of the history. I mentioned that we have approximately 100-year-long history in medical education. And then after the Hungarian program, we started first the English program in biomedical sciences, general medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, biotechnology, and in parallel, later we started the German programs as well in those different majors. There are so many lists where you can track the international recognition of a certain institute. So University of Pécs Medical School is also accredited, of course, and listed in all of these different educational lists. So what is maybe important for accreditation is that the Hungarian medical university degrees are recognized in all EU member states, Norway and Switzerland included. So basically, with the medical diploma you got here from the medical university, you can go and practice in every single European Union countries. Moreover, you are eligible to do the USMLE, the state exam or the licensing exam for the US market, and that's true for the Canadian market as well. So students, if they want to go at that direction, they are eligible to do those exams as well and taking a medical license in the US or in Canada or New Zealand or Canada or Australia or whatever other parts of the world. The different lists I mentioned, there are so many. What we are very proud of that every single year we step up a few places. From last year to this year, we moved like 15, 20 places in certain lists. So gradually we increase our visibility and the quality of the education of the medical school. Oops, something happened here, sorry. Okay, we are here. So the major courses we offer, of course, first of all, the general medicine program, as I mentioned, ended up with an MD, a medical doctor degree, and it's a 6-year-long non-divided program. We have a dentistry program, which is a 5-year-long DMD degree program, and a biotechnology. Of course, we have a bachelor, but it's not by the medical school, but we have the master diploma for biotechnology, which is a 2-year-long program. And of course, we have so many PhD programs, and all of these, as I mentioned, running in English. The intake is a fall intake only, which means that the academic year starts in September. So basically, the admission process starts end of November. The entrance exams starts at the beginning of March. So now a month ago, we do the entrance exams. I'm going to tell you the details later on. And the deadline is like the mid of July. So it's a pretty long period when you can, start the admission process and then taking the entrance exams. And as you can see, every year we have 180 students enrolled into the English general medicine program, 60 for the dentistry, 80 for the pharmacy, and as you can see, 25, 24 for the biotechnology programs. The tuition fees are listed here. The general medicine program is a $16,750 per year. The dentistry program is slightly more expensive. It's $1,700 and we have the biotechnology program, which is a 11,000 euro. Okay, so the first two were in US dollar, and the third one, biotechnology, is in euro. So these are the tuition fees, which I think that's a pretty affordable tuition fees comparing to the medical schools in UK or Western Europe, or especially in the US. There are additional fees for the application, for the entrance examination, registration, and so on and so forth. However, once you start the application process, you will get all the information necessary for those details. And now the admission requirements. As I mentioned, the online application starts in mid-November, 1st of November, sorry. and it lasts till the end of June. And the online exams start the beginning of March, and we finish the mid of July. What is very important that what we need for the medical school is students with a solid background in chemistry and biology. We made a decision years ago then that we don't care about your high school grades and diplomas, which means whatever scores you have, whatever grade you have, whatever A plus and so on and so forth you have, we don't care. We do care about your actual knowledge. And that's why we have our own entrance exam. This entrance exam is a written and oral combined exam. The written part is a multiple choice test in biology, chemistry, general English, and medical terminology English. It's an online test. So we have our own platform, registering and signing up and so on and so forth. And after the written exam, we have an oral part as well, which is like a half an hour long conversation with one of our medical university professors. And in this oral part, we have also chemistry and biology topics to cover. We have the list, so you can go to the admissions webpage and you will see the lists of the chemistry and biology topics you have to cover for that exam. And as I mentioned, these two performances, the written and the oral, will be evaluated by a committee, and this committee will make a decision, which means that only these two performances count, nothing else and nothing more. Very important. I have to say that I just finished actually a few minutes ago today's entrance examination. So I've had a few students today from all around the world. So this is how we do it online, of course. So we have half an hour Zoom or Teams or whatever platforms, and then we have a short introduction, and then we have, as I mentioned, the chemistry and the biology parts. You can check on the admissions webpage a kind of sample tests for the written part, and also we have uploaded an oral interview. So it's like a short YouTube video, and you can check how it's going on. So what kind of questions we ask, and then how the whole story with that oral part. So this is how it's going on. Very important. You have two chances to retake the exam. As I mentioned at the beginning or in the previous slide, the entrance exam period is pretty long, from March till the mid of July. It means that even if you fail on your first attempt in this exam, don't panic, because at least you have an experience how it's going on. And then you have plenty of time. Sometimes students are doing that they just come in April and check the entrance exam situation. And then 1 or 2 months later, in June or even in July, they're coming back. And of course, during that period, during the few months period, they can improve the knowledge tremendously. So this is how it is going on for the entrance story for the medical school. What kind of scholarships we can offer? Basically, the most important I have to mention is the so-called Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship. This is in the middle here, you can see. It's not a university, but a government-funded program for international students. It's a bilateral program between the Hungarian government and the other country's government. There are so many, I don't know, really, just like 50, 60 different countries all around the world. So students can apply for that Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship. The deadline is over now for this year, so you can apply for the scholarship only for the next year. And it's very important to mention that you have to apply separately. As I mentioned, it's not a university, but a government-based scholarship. So you have to apply for that separately for the dedicated or in the dedicated webpage. This is a highly competitive scholarship. However, this is a very, very generous one, because if someone gets the scholarship, it covers your tuition fee, your accommodation fees, and it gives you also some pocket money for the whole study period. So if you come for the general medicine program, it means that it covers all your expenses for 6 years. Basically, it means that you can study and get a medical diploma, a highly recognized and valuable medical degree for free. As I mentioned, it's pretty competitive, but as I mentioned, it's really generous. I don't know any other scholarship in the world which would cover all your expenses during your whole study life. There are other scholarships listed here, so please do check whether you are eligible for the Christian Young People, for the Hungarian Diaspora Program, International Exchange Program, and so on and so forth. If you feel that your knowledge is not strong enough in biology, chemistry, or in English, not sufficient enough, then we offer preparatory courses for the med school. There are 3 different courses, basically different in their length. So we have a short-term 5 months program, we have a mid 10 months, and we have a long-term 15 months long program, as you can see, basically covering biology, chemistry, and as I mentioned, English here, so offline, so here in-house, in Page. So I can really advise this opportunity as well for those students who feel that their academic background is not enough for the medical school. For the innovations, I already mentioned that we built so many new infrastructures. I'm going to show you some pictures about it. But first of all, here you can see the campus map. It's not very, fascinating to see these blue blocks here. But what I want to emphasize, and that's what I've already mentioned, that the campus, the medical school, is not a separated campus like in the US, the colleges that you have a city somewhere and you have a college 20 miles away. But this campus is right in the middle of the city. We are literally like 50 minutes walking distance from the main square, the historical downtown. And as you can see from that map, we have the 400-bed clinic, we have the pharmacy department, we have the new theoretical building, the dentistry building, everything in a 5 minutes walking distance. Moreover, students are either choose a dormitory facility, usually in the first year or not even, but most of the cases students rent flat or sharing a flat with other students. And they do this, choosing a flat which, again, around 5-10 minutes walking distance from the campus buildings, which means that these students literally wake up 10 minutes before the lecture starts. And they come to my lectures 8 o'clock in the morning, right from the bed, as I mentioned, 10 minutes before they were in their kitchen drinking their coffee, the morning coffee. So I think it's a huge advantage. Just think about that in not a megapolis, even in an average big city, you spend hours, at least hours, by public transportation. Just, going back and forth, your dormitory, your flat to the campus or the different campus buildings, stuff like that. Here, if you have a 1 hour gap in your timetable between 2 lectures, you can go home and have a breakfast, have a lunch, or you can sleep a half an hour if you want. So that is a very important point because it means that you don't have to spend your time, half of your life, let's say, just traveling from here to there. You can focus here to your studies or on your studies. It's very important. And as I mentioned, the city is small, which means that you have a lot of opportunities in downtown, bars, restaurants, clubs, everything like that. But still you can come back to here to the campus area, which is, as I mentioned, really close by to downtown. And you have here a completely academic atmosphere and you can focus on your studies here. When I say that it's a small city and it's a university city, I mean that whenever I go downtown with my family or my friends and going to a pub, drinking a beer or stuff like that, at least 10 students cheer me. Hey, professor, how are you? How's the... So we know each other. I don't want to say that we know every student, by name, and it's not like that because there are thousands. But at least we know each other, by face because we are living in such a small area here. So I think it's a huge advantage because you move to a different country, you study in a different language, you have to, just somehow survive in a different culture. And it's very important to get all those connections. Maybe your, other students, senior students from the same country, or getting, new friends, new connections here, even with professors and your teachers. I think it's very, very important. So here you can see a few facts and pictures about the new buildings. So for the new theoretical building, as you can read here, the room for education and research has grown by 40% with that new building. Really state-of-the-art 21st century labs and lecture rooms and seminar rooms. Extremely modern environment. What I really love, and you see here just a small piece of that, is the beautiful park. We have, I think that we have another picture I'm going to show you with a pond, goldfish, everything. So like a fairy tale. Students, now it's the weather is beautiful. We have like 15, 20 degrees. Springtime, it's really beautiful. So they are just, spreading from the building to that main park and then spending the time there between classes. So it's really wonderful. What you see in this slide is the new theoretical and clinical building for dentistry department. As I mentioned, this is just the other side of the street. So it's like 5 minutes right from here. I'm sitting in my office. 5 floors, 61 new dental units awaiting patients and students. Absolutely modern and brand new, handed over in 2022. The MediSkills lab, it's a simulation lab, state of the art. We increased the surface area of that lab as well. 5 matrix rooms, VR, AR rooms, special operations medicine room, a lot of, operating theater, mannequins, these puppets, what you can use. They are crying, they are screaming. You can take blood from that. It's really wonderful. You can have first-hand experience with those, still not living patients. So it's good because, students are going to that facility mainly during the 4th and 5th years. So later in the 6th year, as I mentioned, the rotation year, they go and, of course, meet real patients as well. Here you can see a few pictures, and this is, I don't know whether you see this on the right bottom corner. So the new theoretical building and the beautiful park with the small pond and green. Lovely. I really love that place. I spend some time here as well when I am able to go out from my office. The 4 major pillars, what we have here in the medical school: the learning culture concept, the infrastructure concept, the science and innovation concept, and the well-being concept. So basically, we want to build this whole education, medical education, on those 4 pillars. For me, maybe the well-being concept is the most important: health preservation, mental hygiene. And we want to have here a place where both the students and the teachers, professors, and the clinicians come every feeling that it's my second home. So this is what we want to provide. And I think that we are in a very good way for that one. Services. These are important mainly for students. Oh, that was some music in the background. Anyway, so we have a lot of programs, but that's maybe important for those students who are already in the university, the Putepedia, the counseling programs, peer program. What I want to emphasize here, not, there are so many well-being programs, healthy food preparing and moving and loving and a lot of things like that. What I think is one of the most important point is the Unibody system. This is an application free for download, so you can just download it to your smartphone, and you can search on the application and finding the University of Pécs Medical School, and you can find Unibodies. These are currently studying students here, senior students, and you can start a chat conversation with those students. Basically, you can find someone from your nationality, from your country, because as I mentioned, there are so many unibodies and so many students around. So you can have a first-hand experience and information, not from me as a professor, but from students studying here right now. So I think that if you think about University of Page as a possible destination and the medical school as a possible destination, definitely you should go and try the unibody, because that is absolutely useful application, and as I mentioned, a first-hand information. AMBOSS will be important later when you come to the university. It's a lovely program, and University of Pécs is the only medical school in Hungary which offered free access to the AMBOSS for all the students. We have also research opportunities. Some of the students want to do research during their academic career, so we have the Undergraduate Research Society you can join, and you can do real research. You can even publish papers. You can go to conferences with lectures or posters, so you can have a hint how the medical science, the real medical science, is going on, how the medical research is going on as a first-hand experience. We have the German or English-German Student Committee, the major representation of all the international students at the medical school. They organize plenty of programs all around the world, all around the year, sorry. And right now, I mean, in this time of the year, we have the Medical Cup. So there are so many sport events in this week here in and around the campus. So many sports-related courses. We have gyms, indoor, outdoor facilities. Medical Cup, as I mentioned, it's going on right now. A few information about accommodation. Someone just came to the conversation. So here you can see kind of estimated prices for the private flat per month, the shared flat per month, and the dormitory per month. So as you can see, the shared flat is kind of, comparable to the dormitory price. Okay, someone is here, so please mute your mics. Okay, so here you can see a few pictures about the dormitories we offer to our students. They are, as I mentioned, pretty close to the campus buildings, and a few examples for the living costs. I have to say that Hungary is a pretty affordable country compared to the Western European countries. Here you can see that the public transport monthly pass for students is 10 euros, so that's what you have to pay. But basically, as I mentioned, most of the students either walk or they just rent or buy a bike in the first year, and they use the bike and ride a bike in the city, because we have biking paths as well between downtown and the campus buildings and so on and so forth. And here you can see some other prices, just to get or have a hint about like the everyday expenses. Whatever other question you have, of course, you can ask questions now in the session, because we have a Q&A part as well. Hopefully my colleague answered most of the questions coming during this short presentation. And here you can see web pages, Facebook, I don't know, Instagram, whatever. So you can find additional information basically in the Student Service Center or the Admission Service Office. These are the two major offices where you can find all the information what you need. And of course, you can contact my colleagues directly, and they will be happy to answer any question arising. So thank you very much for now. And if you have any further question, which...
Yes, thank you. A big thank you to Dr. Balázs Veres for the wonderful presentation. Yes, so we are at the Q&A part. If I can ask you, please do not click on the Watch Together button on the YouTube video. I'm not sure what that function is about. And don't forget that we have a student ambassador, someone who's studying general medicine here. So if you have any questions to the student to share his experiences about studying here, then you feel free to ask.
And
Yes, we have.
additionally, if I can add something, since we have that student ambassador here, so I would like to ask him to join us now. And since we have time, hey, how are you?
Hi, sir.
One of my former students. I hope that he still loves me because I teach biochemistry, which is not the easiest subject in the foundation years. So, but now we are. I'm just joking.
Everyone loves you.
So I just give you a few minutes, and then I would be really happy to hear your insights as a student. Please.
For me, the admission process itself was not that tedious because one of my cousin graduated from the same university in the year 2022, and pretty much he helped me with everything I wanted. So, for a person who do not have a contact here, it is. I mean, as a student, I would say a bit of extra work in. Managing everything from entrance exams to visas to get to page and to start their studies. So it is a bit challenging, but for sure it is also fun once you reach here and you start your studies. So I wouldn't say it is a very smooth process, but with the constant support from mentors and from student service or anyone in that matter who can help any the students here. So I for so basically it is worth the hassle, I would say. And this is my fourth year here, and I cannot, I don't have any complaints because as a medical student, it is very necessary for us to be consistent with the studies and also um, have an upper hand in when it comes to maybe weekly examination or a semester exam. So we tend to study more on the exam period, but it is always better to prepare yourself beforehand throughout the semester. For now, the we have a spring break this week, so I am a bit outside from Page. I'm in Balaton, which is um, lake, like I think 3 hours away from Page. So it is a nice place to visit because it's spring now and the weather is getting better. So yeah, I'm here. I can also say that it's not just studies but also co-curricular activities, international events, um, and also as professor said, it is also the university is giving a huge efforts in well-being, and hence we have many such events which not just stimulate your academics but also your mental and physical well-being as well. So we have all kinds of sports here if people are interested in sports. For medical students up to 4 semesters, it's compulsory to be involved in any one of the sports at least once a week. So that's a good thing because medical students tend to sit in the library and wail off the entire day. So it is very necessary for them to go out and have at least a bit of physical and mental um, sort of recharge. So yeah, for me, my personal experience here was is still very great, and I'm glad that I chose the University of Page for medicine.
I I just want to ask a question from my former student because I forgot to mention in my short presentation that I mean I don't want to say something, you know, this is wonderful and it's easy and you know, so that's a difficult task. Okay, medical school is all around the world. This is the most difficult university type. So I just wanted to ask my student, is it easy?
Of course, it is not easy. Easy is something, I mean, it is very subjective, but still, for every student, at least majority of the student, exam period itself is very stressful. But as I said, it is also consistency, because what you need to be a doctor is taught to you, but it is not spoon feeded, but still you are on the right track. So each week you learn something new, you revise it, and hence from the week 1 of the semester you start preparing yourself, not just for the exams but for your future as well. So for, of course, the exam period itself, and it's around 7 to 8 exams every semester, so you need to also allocate enough time for each subject, and also schedule your exam according to which subject you think might be challenging for you. Some students are good in chemistry, some students are better in biology, so we can't exactly say whether which subject might be easy. But overall, I would say it is a bit challenging, but for sure it is doable. So it's not like um, it's going to be nerve wracking, but I'm for sure you can make it with consistent efforts. Yeah.
Thank you. I just wanted to hear it from a student that, so it's very important to note that once you decided that you want to become a doctor, this is the only way. Okay, so it's a wonderful profession. It's not easy to get there, but once you're there, this is really something worth working for it. And additionally, I really hope, and that's what I see from my students, that these are definitely your most beautiful years. I mean, these 6 years, the most beautiful years of your life. So whatever is happening here, whatever is struggling and challenging and stuff like that, but still, it's really splendid. I mean, just it's priceless. I mean, this is really the best part of your life. So go for it.
All right, thank you so much, and thank you for sharing your experiences. We still have a few questions left. I see a person raising their hands. Anissa, if you want to ask your question, feel free.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm actually a Kenyan student and I'm studying in the UAE right now. I'm finishing my third year of dentistry and I have a relatively good GPA. I have a GPA of a 3.98 out of 4, but I'm looking to transfer. I'm not sure how possible it is because I see that you need to have finished, I think, less than 50%, which I only have my fourth and fifth year remaining. So I'm not sure how possible it is. And if I do want to transfer and hypothetically repeat my third year, which I think I'm open to do I still need to sit for the entrance exam, or how does the process go by? Because I emailed them and they sent me a couple of requirements which I fit into, but I'm just a bit confused, you could say.
Yeah. Do we have information about transfers and how they work?
Yes, I can speak regarding this. Yeah, as you said, if you have studied over 50% of your degree somewhere, it's very hard to get what you require, like to continue from where you have left, because the Hungarian language itself, which is the medical Hungarian, which is required for your clinical years here, it is taught here in the first 2 years, which is like until your fourth semester, basically. So it the university itself doesn't allow you to study the clinical subjects, because you will have to speak to the patients in Hungarian at least a bit. So that is what they train in the medical Hungarian course, wherein you will learn basic questioning and how to take an amnesis. So for which you have to go through this medical Hungarian course. And that is one major drawback here. And the second one is it also depends on the curriculum that you have studied back in UAE, because it should match to the to at least 75% of the curriculum here. The topics and maybe the syllabus should also match. So you will have to go through a pretty complicated system here with each subject, because twice a year there is a credit transfer committee which sits up and decides whether what you have studied in UAE fits to what we as a in the university they teach. So for which it might take a while, and also you might have need to fill up the opinion forms and so many different forms regarding the studies and how many credits and how many hours have you spent studying this subject. So it is once the credit transfer results come up, we can say whether it is able for you to go to that specific year. But as of now, I'm pretty sure that I've not seen a single student, even though they've finished over 50% of the studies in a different country, have started from where they have left. But I'm, as I said, I think you might can skip 1 year, but it's very challenging. And I have not seen till now people who have skipped like 2 years and then started from the third year right ahead. So yeah.
I appreciate it, Professor Raj. Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone's opinion on this.
Sorry, one more additional information to this. As far as I know, I'm not 100% sure, but 99% sure that there is a rule, and this is actually a government-based rule, so not the university rule, that for a medical study, medical university, you can have like maximum 1 year what you take out of the university where you actually graduate. So based on this, I'm pretty sure that you cannot skip 2 years. I mean, saying that you already finished those 2 years anywhere else, because you don't match with that criteria in that case.
Yeah, no, that's totally understandable. I appreciate the clarification from all of you. It was really nice hearing about the university, but maybe you'll see me for masters. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the great question. We have another person raising their hand.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to know about the Hungarian language. What's the language level we have to reach when we start our rotation? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to have any levels of Hungarian, but it is, of course, better if you start learning at least the basics of Hungarian. But in medical school, you are just learning medical Hungarian, which is like just strictly for medical students. Because over the years, like once you have spent 2 years here, you might already know basic Hungarian, but medical Hungarian is completely different from that. So in the first 4 semesters, you will learn the medical terminologies in Hungarian language and how to ask patient for their history and their complaints. So that is what medical Hungarian is all about. It's not about like levels of language like A1 or B1 or something. So it is not mandatory, or it is not necessary for you to learn Hungarian language as such until this level, but it is mandatory to learn medical Hungarian for a student who is studying medicine here. Yeah.
Okay.
And one more, sorry, just
sorry.
one more additional stuff, because there are so many students asking the question, how difficult is it? And yes, indeed, Hungarian language is itself, it's a difficult language. But maybe my student can agree with me that normally it's not the challenging part of the first 2 years. So not the Hungarian language is the difficult part of the first 2 years. So you have so many other things to study that actually the medical Hungarian is just a kind of, additional stuff you have to study. And then most of the students actually enjoy studying such kind of, very basic Hungarian. So it's not really the most challenging part of the first 2 years, definitely.
Okay, thank you. Also, how does the German section of the medical aspect work? You mentioned there were three, the Hungarian, English, and German one. How does the German one work?
Maybe I can just tell you that we have a separated program, a
Okay.
German program, which is the same 6-year-long program, taught entirely in German. So this is like this is similar to, we have, as I mentioned, the Hungarian program for the Hungarian students, the English for the international program for English speaking, and one for the German speaking students. So the whole program from the first year to the 36, it is in German.
Language proficiency do I need for that? Is B2 fine, or do I need mother tongue?
For the German program, I mean, you have to have the language skills. To be honest, since I'm not involved in the German program as a committee member, I don't know how to select those students who are not from Germany, because most of the students, I mean 99% of the students from Germany, so I don't know how the other students are joining, whether they have any language barrier or exam. Rod, do you know anything about it?
Yes, it is. You have to have at least C1 level of German because, as I said, the entire instruction is in German. So, and the medical language of German is also different from how you speak regularly in an. So I think you need C1 level of German to learn in anywhere in Europe to learn medicine in German. Yeah.
And sorry, last question. So if I wanted to apply, are there restrictions to whether I can apply for the English and German one, or am I only limited to the one?
You are limited to one. You have to choose either you want to learn in English or in German, whichever one you are better in. But there is also a possibility of having to shift your language of instruction in future years to either German or English, whichever you want. But for which you need to have an exam that is like a basic medical German or medical English exam, which is conducted by the language department here. So I mean, that is one certification which you need if you want to shift your language of instruction in between the years.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. If there are no spoken questions anymore, then we still have one in the chat, I believe, that we haven't covered. What exchange programs and international partnership opportunities are available for medical students, and how extensive are the university's collaborations with other universities worldwide?
Shall I start? Yeah, but maybe I just about the program. So basically, right now we are not eligible to participate in the Erasmus program, but we hope that in a few months' time that would change. In the meantime, however, we have another program which is called Pannonia program, and then the students can apply for that program, which is pretty similar to the Erasmus actually. And there are, I don't know how many countries and how many institutions, really a long list, to where you can apply for 1 semester study program. So definitely it does exist. And between other universities, so there are 2 levels of collaborations between universities. One level is that when we have university level collaborations, so it means that the University of Pécs has officially, I don't know, 50 to 100 different universities all around the world with official connections. However, these connections are not always really everyday living connections. The other level, where professors have connections with universities because we spent a few years here or there, and we have, scientific connections to other professors with other departments and so on and so forth. And these are the so-called living connections, because we have, every week or every month, a kind of scientific or research-based meeting or anything. And of course, there is a possibility to join a research group, which is an international research group. So if you can, some of these connections or collaborations have those kind of grants, which allow the students even and researchers as well to exchange, programs of few weeks or studying a specific method, something like that abroad. So you have these opportunities. So from my side, that's what I can tell about this.
Thank you so much. Aside from textbooks, what kind of resources are provided to students to benefit from? Well, MediSkills Lab, I would say, is one of the great benefits of studying at the medical school, but probably you guys can talk more about it.
Yeah, as Professor already said, that we have AMBUS, which is, you can say, a one-stop solution for everything you want to study. And of course, we have a huge library with, like, I don't know, maybe over 5,000 books. And you can always borrow books from library, if not. And we, as each subject itself has their own syllabus or a textbook, as you said, which pretty much sums up everything that you need to know, at least for the exam level. And if you want to be very proficient in it, of course, Professor suggests some how to say, model textbooks that you can refer to from the library as well. And also, as already mentioned, yeah, MedSkills Lab, maybe you can also start from your first year to learn and hands-on experience with the practical stuffs like simple sutures and knots from your first semester itself, so that once you start learning surgery or basic surgical techniques in your third year, you would already have some experience with it. And MedSkills Lab has pretty much everything, not just surgical techniques, but laparoscopy or even modern machineries that is used for surgeries. And also in your first semesters, you'll also learn about nursing skills and first aid. So yeah, these are pretty much that they teach in the basic module, that is the first 2 years. But then once you enter into preclinical and clinical years, you will learn more about it in real time in the hospitals. So yeah, this is and also there are, because we as a student group, international student group, we have our own Google Drives in which there will be past year papers and notes written by some brilliant students, which you can always refer to. And yeah, it pretty much sums up what you have to learn for the exams, make it very easy for you from the get-go. So I mean, I think this is pretty much enough for you when it comes to having reference to different textbooks.
All right, thank you so much. Do we have any more questions? Something maybe that we haven't covered? All right, if there are no more questions, we are right on schedule to end this session. Thank you so much, Dr. Balázs Veres, for the very informative presentation, and thank you, Bud, for giving your experiences and insights studying here as a medical student. And thank you for everyone for taking the time to join us for today. We still have a couple of sessions going on for the next 2 hours. So if you're interested in biology, as someone was mentioning in the chat, make sure to join the session for the Faculty of Sciences, and have a wonderful day. Thank you all.